Good afternoon and welcome to Say Newsfile. I'm Suhaib Yusuf. Easton Ham will have a look at all the highlights later in the show. What can we expect, Easton?
We're going to have some Oilers highlights and some Raptors highlights, some Flames, and even some Trojans.
That sounds amazing, but Jaron Fisher has made it outside where it's looking pretty nice. Is spring finally here, Jaron?
I sure hope so, Suhaib. Today we have a high of 15 degrees, which is quite a bit warmer than the average, which is about 5 degrees, though it's not quite as warm as in 1926 when it hit 20 degrees Celsius. It's way better, though, than in 1899, where it hit minus 27. I'll have the weather forecast for you later today.
Thanks, Jaron. Now here's a look at today's top stories. Hundreds of Polish protesters have gathered to halt trucks at the Poland-Belarus border. Protesters say Russia is using Belarus to get around sanctions by moving goods to the country. In recent days, lines of trucks that have been put to stop stretches from the border for almost 20 kilometers. With wait times being around 30 hours or more, protesters are trying to cut off Russia and isolate them, as the lack of goods will isolate them and bring Ukraine closer to victory. Back here in the province, former Premier Ed Stelmach and former Deputy Premier Thomas Lukaszuk are working together to aid Ukraine. The two have close ties to both Ukraine and Poland, and through Polish airlines, they're hoping to fill a plane full of supplies that Ukrainian refugees desperately need. More than $15 million of firefighting and medical equipment has been donated thus far. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just announced an agreement with the new Democratic Party that will last until 2025. Trudeau says this move is about stability, which he says is what Canadians need right now.
This supply and confidence agreement starts today and will be in place until the end of this Parliament in 2025. What this means is that during this uncertain time, the government can function with predictability and stability.
As Trudeau said, this agreement will be in place until the end of the current Parliament, or 2025. CP Rail employees have agreed to binding arbitration to settle their labor dispute with the company. Trains are rolling again today, but the dispute had many Canadians concerned, especially when it came to already high grocery prices. As Mia Matushak reports, workers are hoping arbitration will lead to better work hours and higher pay.
Canadians are missing this sound as CP Rail has rolled to a stop. The company locked out workers early Monday morning, and picket lines were in place later that day. The halt in rail traffic has struck economic concern in Canadians, particularly when it comes to grocery prices.
So, over the short term, if the labor dispute would have lasted within 10 days, I would have expected some empty shelves in the middle of the store, particularly. There are so many things right now affecting food prices. It's hard to pinpoint, like look at one factor and say that's the reason why prices. It's so complicated right now out there.
Prices were already seeing a major increase due to supply chain issues because of the pandemic. CP employees are picketing in an effort to have their voices heard by the company to encourage better quality of life for them and their families.
Our goal is to pension is the big one. Big push is our pension, wage, and quality of life. We work, we're usually away from our homes for almost 30 to 40 hours a day, more or less.
CP engineer Ever Kelly agrees and says he values rest rules so he can spend more time with his family and less time traveling back and forth on trains.
Me personally, in my opinion, the rest rules and quality of life are very important to me and my family. I'd like to see them, like to see them grow up. That'd be nice.
The company has apparently put forward a proposal to change the rules governing downtime for employees. It's believed that's on the table during discussions this week. For St. Newsfile, I'm Mia Matushak.
The University of Lethbridge's Board of Governors and the Faculty Association have come to an agreement ending the 6-week strike. The 40-day strike and lockout began in February when staff at the university had gone 629 days without a contract. The 4-day negotiation talks ended Saturday when 91% of the ULFA voted in favor of ratifying a new collective agreement. The U of L faculty went back to work today, and the students are expected to start back tomorrow morning online. Students who are attending the University of Calgary this fall will be hit with an increase in their tuition. The province's Advanced Minister of Education has approved a plan by the U of C for major increases to tuition in engineering, medicine, and the Master of Business Administration programs. The hike in tuition will only impact domestic students applying for the upcoming fall semester. For students in the engineering program, they can expect to see an increase of 32%, but it is important to note that the cost of tuition for engineering at the U of C remains below the national average. After decades of young people moving to Alberta for opportunities, it seems recently that a trend is reversing. A new report shows the number of youth living in the province is decreasing. As O'Kelly reports, the demographic of people living in Alberta could look a lot different in the upcoming years.
The rate of youth living in Alberta has dropped significantly since the recession of 2016. A report done by the Canada West Foundation shows that young people are interested in leaving the province to live elsewhere, despite the rise in vacant jobs. The report states that there is a consensus thought that Alberta lacks vibrancy and diversity within the economy, but experts say that is not the case.
See this gap in regards to the diversity of opportunity in the province, whether it be into tech or into entertainment or sport or whatever path people want to choose. They exist here, but young people believe they have to move to Vancouver, Toronto if they really want to follow their career passion.
2017, Albertan residents between 25 and 29 have left at a rate of over 1,100 per year, and the numbers may continue to drop.
I would probably end up moving back to BC just for family reasons.
Mostly the views, a lot of the views, and then also I really like rain, so I know there's a lot of rain out on the west coast, so yeah, hopefully to see all that.
With the predisposed perception of Alberta's oil and gas industry, the growth in different areas and projects within the province has relatively gone unnoticed. But with the youth currently living here, they see the positives in living within the Wild Rose country. For students like John Yan, the affordability of living is a reason to stay in Alberta.
Compared to Vancouver, compared to Toronto, you can have a reasonable job and then afford a family here.
Housing in BC and Ontario, and it's through the roof. I feel like Alberta's a little bit more modern and great spot to start a family.
I like Calgary because it's becoming a tech hub. A lot of companies from outside of Alberta are coming to Calgary in order to set up operations, so I'd probably be sticking around for a long time.
For State Newsfile, I'm O'Kelly.
Living in the Beltline downtown has been an absolute nightmare lately. Weekly protests have invaded the neighborhood and most residents have just had enough. As Tia Leonard reports, police were armed with a new injunction this weekend, but that didn't stop demonstrators and they didn't pay much attention.
Restrictions have eased and Alberta is already on its recovery plan. But divided they stand as Group A and B are not stopping the weekly rallies and protests in the downtown Beltline community. Frontline Freedom Rally fighter Kevin Sheff traveled from Ottawa to Calgary to stand with the rally against mandates.
Want our lives back, want to go back to work, have our pensions, everything, because that's all being taken from us.
Sheff and a handful of other protesters took to Central Memorial Park on the weekend. They say they are demonstrating for their freedoms. What once used to be a quiet community has now turned into a weekly battle between protesters. During a time where businesses are trying to recover from a global pandemic, a new fear has been unlocked for the community, and residents are frustrated.
For the last 2 years, these freedom rallies, I say with quotes, they've been coming, making a lot of noise. They've been in the park every week. It's noise, it's traffic disruptions. As they get bigger, it intimidates people in the neighborhood.
Calgary police have been sorting through this minefield every weekend, but there just seems to be a great divide.
Half of the people were cooperative and would, listen to the police and that sort of thing, and the other 50% were anything but, and they were very, very disrespectful. And so that grinds on you, especially over time, I think.
Neufeld says that 6 arrests were made, 4 were due to breaches of the injunction, and the other 2 were over a tussle with police and a noise complaint. CPS is taking steps forward to keep things peaceful and to try to move the protests out of the Beltline community. For State Newsfile, I'm Tia Leonard.
With the economy being the way it is, money is more important than ever. That's why the School Award program is crucial for students to get ahead. Tony Trozo is live in front of Heritage Hall. Tony, how can students become more informed about these awards?
Well, Suhaib, students are obviously trying to get ahead, with money being a big part of that. One way to get around that is for them to apply for some of the many scholarships and bursaries through SAIT.
$5.6 million. It's a lot of money, and it's what SAIT students have access to every year. These scholarships and awards are available to all qualifying students who excel academically, athletically, show financial need, or who are involved in the community. The money is available to all students, but not all of them are aware of the different options.
No, not really. I didn't really know much about the scholarships until after after first semester, when we were told, hey, there's scholarships people should apply for, because people aren't applying and it's free money.
Even though there are many awards available, some students don't think SAIT does a good enough job of telling them when and where to apply.
I don't think SAIT gives enough notice to students that there are scholarships. You kind of have to look yourself, and it's like a 40-page book.
More than 1.5 million Canadian students currently have student loans taken out and combined owe more than $18 billion in student debt. Some students seem to be sidetracked by the pandemic, and the loans office received even fewer scholarship applications than ever before.
Compared to usual during the pandemic, our applications have gone down. There has definitely been less people applying. And so we're developing a strategy right now to kind of really get out into people's faces and let them know about what there is available and how to apply. And
The SAIT scholarship program wouldn't be possible without the help from its generous donors. If you want to donate in the future or create a new award, you can check out SAIT.ca under the awards section. Suhaib?
That was Tony Trozo reporting live from Heritage Hall. Thanks, Tony. Those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break with Jaren, but first, Liz Dang has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
It's time to attend those shows in person. The Sultra Ladies of Carl's Angel will be brightening the stage this coming Saturday at 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. For the skate lovers, the ice is melting away. Give yourself a chance to go skating before it's too late. You can skate at Olympic Plaza from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. for free. For the past 2 years, things has been a roller coaster for everyone. And now it's time to change the wardrobe and have something new. Jump into the new style with a chance to take your wardrobe to the next level. The Wall of the Mineral is back this spring with a chance to show us the specimen. For the Calgary Rock and Gem Show, you can get anything that you want for just $2 per person. It's back and bigger than ever. Calgary Big Winter Classic returns this Thursday. It's time to check out what's going on there and support local artists at various venues throughout the city.
With so many events, we definitely need to get out there because it's really nice outside. Let's take a look at what's going on in Canada. So right now, we have a high pressure system. So what that means is that the weather is consistent, it's warm, and it's steady. So if we take a look at Vancouver and Edmonton, it's really nice there. It is a little rainy in Vancouver, but it's not quite as bad as in the East Coast. Out east, in Toronto and Montreal, it's still not too bad, but if we go to St. John's and Halifax, it's quite a bit colder, and they have a low pressure system there, so as you can see the difference, it's a lot windier, it's a lot snowier, and they have chances of flurries there. But let's see if we can get out of here and get to the resorts. Palm Springs is up there at a sunny 31 degrees. Barbados is getting a bit of rain, but is still 27. In Cancun, it's sunny and 29 degrees. Honolulu and Orlando are getting some rain, but are at a toasty 27 and 33 degrees. Finally, we have a nice 25 degrees in Vegas. Let's take a look at what's in Calgary today. Right now, like I said, it's pretty warm out, so we've got a lot of sun and we've got pretty low winds. Let's take a look at what we have in Alberta. In Alberta, like I mentioned, we have a high pressure system. So as you can see in Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, Edmonton, Red Deer, etc., it's really nice and it's really consistent. In Grand Prairie, we've got a little bit of rain, but it's not too bad. We've got 12 degrees, 14. It's really nice all over. So if you can get outside, get outside. We've got sports after the break, so let's take it. Here in Calgary, we've got tonight, it's gonna cool down a little bit to 5 degrees. And tomorrow, it's still gonna be really nice. It's gonna cool down quite a bit Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So get out now while you can. We've got sports coming up next, so let's have the break.
I had it so good. I had my own car, great grades, everything in my life was going great till I ruined it all. Little did I know, this would be my greatest mistake. Drunk driving. Lawyer fees, disappointed parents, lost car. If only I listened.
Hey, you aren't good to drive home.
Friends don't let friends drink and drive.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry-standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Easton Ham joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. So what can we expect, Easton?
Well, like I mentioned before, we got some Oilers highlights and some Raptors highlights, and even some SAIT highlights, so let's take a look. The SAIT Trojans men's basketball team is heading to Nationals. After going 14-2 on the season and winning a 5th straight ACAC title, the team is ready to represent nationally. SAIT has a long recent history at Nationals, but have failed to execute, with their best placing being 5th. The team is confident going in and hopes this is the year they reach the podium. Just the opportunity to play at Nationals means a lot to the players.
This is very personal, especially playing my last season, making Nationals in my home city. It's very personal. I got to win it back home for my people.
The team will head to Toronto on Wednesday, and team practices at Humber College begin on Thursday. The Raptors made the trip to Chicago last night to play the Bulls. A couple minutes into the first, Van Vliet drives and finds Barnes wide open for the two-hand slam. Only 4 minutes later, down by 8, Barnes finds Van Vliet, who drains the three and puts the Raptors within 5 of tying it up. Next possession, Van Vliet sees Siakam attacking the basket and lobs a pass up for the alley-oop. All tied up in the second quarter, Siakam spins and makes the layup, giving the Raptors the lead. In the third quarter, Bulls guard Zach LaVine decided it was his turn, driving towards the basket to make this skilled layup. He then found himself all alone at the top of the key, shoots, and gives the Bulls an 11-point lead. Going into the fourth quarter, Ayo Dosunmu drains a three, making the Raptors' comeback near impossible, and Nick Nurse wasn't very happy. The Raptors tried to claw their way back, but ended up losing by a score of 99-113. Former Raptor DeMar DeRozan led the Bulls, along with Zach LaVine, both putting up 26 points. Raptors' next game is Thursday versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Edmonton Oilers took on the Western Conference powerhouse Colorado Avalanche last night. Picking it up in the first, McKinnon finds Rantanen on the power play, who tries to feed the puck cross crease but gets his own rebound for the first goal of the game. Heading on into the second, McDavid drops the puck to Draisaitl, who sees Yamamoto backdoor with a wide open net to tie it up. And on the power play again, Makar feeds the puck across the blue line to Rantanen, who wastes no time shooting, and a deflection leads the puck in the back of the net for his 30th of the year. Oilers down 1. Josh Manson bobbles the puck, and Yamamoto steals and finds Kane all alone out front to tie it up. After a scoreless third, under a minute into overtime, Makar steals the puck from Kane, skates in, and passes to McKinnon, who makes no mistake with his signature move, beating Mike Smith and giving the Avalanche the win. McKinnon's overtime goal secured the Avalanche 2 points, and they are now 5 points ahead of Florida for first overall. Edmonton is currently in a close race with Vegas for third spot in the Pacific, so every point matters. Edmonton will play again tonight versus the Dallas Stars. The NHL trade deadline was yesterday, and the Flames made another addition to the roster. Calgary made a deal with Chicago, which welcomes center Ryan Carpenter to the squad. The Flames sent a 5th-round draft pick in the year 2024 to Chicago. Carpenter has played 300 career games in the NHL and has 26 goals and 42 assists, adding up to 68 career points. He also has some playoff experience, making it to the Cup Finals in 2017 and 2018 with Vegas, and had 5 points in 17 games. The Flames take on the San Jose Sharks at the Scotiabank Saddledome tonight. New addition Ryan Carpenter could possibly make the lineup. Calgary is 6-2-2 in their last 10, and San Jose is 4-4-2. Puck drop is 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Life on SAIT campus is finally getting back to a sense of normal. Masks are off, restaurants are reopening, and now you can get back on the attack over the noon hour with SAIT intramurals. As Philip Miani reports, it seems like students are more than happy to get back to athletics.
It's fun to play with people you don't know what to expect. It might be good or not, but that's the fun part, you know? You get to play different people.
For the first time in nearly 2 years, drop-in intramurals have returned to SAIT. The plan to start hosting intramurals again was finalized late last week, with promotion of the events rolled out late Friday afternoon. Despite the short notice, organizers were ecstatic with the turnout.
This is perfect though. I'm actually quite happy with the turnout today. We definitely did not plan for this many people, so it's awesome to see people out here.
SAIT students welcome the opportunity to interact with fellow students they don't know personally.
As club athletics season for the SAIT Trojans ends, students that still want to get their sports fix can now join drop-in athletics here at the SAIT Campus Center on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. For those that want to get their fix virtually, the SAIT Esports Gaming Lounge will also be open for drop-in activities.
What a shot! Yo, Egg is popping off this game.
SAIT does have a competitive esports team, but anybody of any skill level is welcome to come drop in. With esports taking place in an online environment, players are hoping to continue their online friendships past the end of the semester.
Esports is a bit different because you can play online, you can play from your home, you can play anywhere. So we're hoping to do this yearly and not really put like an end.
Biggest reason SAIT brought back intramurals was to give students and staff a mental break.
Towards the end, we have final season, we have all this big group project coming up, so we want to make sure that the students got a little bit of a fun time outside those work hours for sure.
Mondays are basketball, Tuesdays are volleyball, and Wednesdays are indoor soccer from 12 to 1. While prospective gamers can drop into the esports lounge Monday to Friday from 11 to 2 or from 3 to 6. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Philip Miani.
And that's a look at sports.
You know, I actually watched that Raptors game, but once it got to the fourth quarter and they were down by 20, I was like, if I continue to watch this game, I will be very miserable, so I had to stop.
Yeah, they almost had it, but I just don't know what happened there.
DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, they went off, man. Chicago. After the break, we'll have a look at what's latest in the world of entertainment, so stay with us.
When you donate to the Salvation Army, you're not just donating a coat, you're donating another warm night for someone that needs it. When you donate to the Salvation Army, you're giving someone hope. So why wait? Give hope today.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
What we all hope is to leave worst of the pandemic behind us and have some normalcy. The entertainment world is going crazy with lots of shows happening and events happening this week. Liz Dang joins us from the newsroom. Liz, what's happening in the entertainment world?
Well, Suhaib, as we caught ourselves daydreaming about the early 2000s again, luckily it won't be long until we leave the music. Next weekend, music lovers are encouraged to check out the Night of 1,000 Brittany, a tribute to the Queen of Pub, featuring the very best Calgary drag scenes. The colorful show will be hosted by Nada Naft. Festival season and the concert are around the corner. With the sun and the fun on our mind, we are gearing up for the best of best. The world's most popular video game is showing support to help Ukraine through fundraising. The online video game Fortnite have raised more than 36 million in a single day from the sale of the version of the game to support humanitarian effort in Ukraine. Since the company released the latest version, the sale has been higher than expected. The humanitarian relief organizations that will receive the proceeds are UNICEF, UNHCR, Direct Relief, and United Nations World Food Program. Daddy Yankee shocked the fan over the weekend after announcing that after being in the industry for 30 years, he's going to retire. The Despacito hitmaker thinks it's a time to take another road. However, before they retire, is they set to release the new album. The title of his new album is Legend Daddy, and it will be out on Thursday, March 24th. The tour will be running from August through December. And that look at the latest entertainment. Back to you, Suhaib.
You know, I remember it was 2017 and that song just came out. Everyone either hated that song or they loved it, or they were like me and they only listened to it when they were alone in their room. So, anywho, let's go back to the news. Superhero movies have been breaking Hollywood records lately, including both Marvel and DC movies. More fans are now craving more comic book stories and have started to read comic books rather than watch the movies. Kevin Vibahasuri has the story.
We are living in an era where there are many alternative media to use, in an era where people are still reading, even though the number is declining. Today, we are going to talk to a person who are still obsessed with comic books, still collect them and read them to this day.
I've been collecting comics monthly since 1992. I really liked the old 1960s Batman show, and I loved the animated series, so I'm like, I want to get more of this. So I found a comic book shop and just picked it up and have been going ever since. I think right now there's a ton of new people into comics mostly because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, they'll go and watch the new Spider-Man movie and then come in and want to see more. So like our Spider-Man subscriptions have skyrocketed. They'll watch an Iron Man movie. I'm sure when the new Batman movie comes out, people will be like, that was cool, I want more. So it's kind of really good for comic books right now because the movies are good finally. Find out kind of your favorite character. Talk to your local comic book shop about a good place to jump in. And then once you kind of have your toes in the water, you can start jumping into the bigger monthly stuff like Batman Monthly or Spider-Man Monthly and stuff because you know the character now.
For said Newsfile, I'm Kevin Vibahasuri.
You know, I love comic books, especially good original characters, good storylines. But what I love even more, especially in this city, is good weather. So Jaron, what about that 5-day forecast? You want to bring it up again?
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice couple days. So tonight we've got a low of 5 degrees, and tomorrow we've got a high of 16 with a low of 1. But then it is going to cool down a little bit more. So on Thursday, it's dropping.
Well, at least tomorrow's going to be 16. And that's all for news today. That's State Newsfile. I'm Suhaib Yusuf.